It's natural for people to want to be the best. The best are remembered, commemorated, honored, and emulated because they achieved great things and are thus respected. They are the prime example that the next legend will learn from. Some people are born with the knowledge that they will be great in their field, others just do what they love and are crowned a great because their devotion to the work could only yield greatness. There are those who are truly great as well, but their contribution was minimized or overlooked. And then there are those who aren't great at all. Actually, they kind of suck, but they're marketed as great. When a parent or a partner or even the planet demands greatness from you, there's a clear implication. Be great, or else what? Or else I will never love you again. I will withdraw my love from you. I will love another. I will replace my love with abuse. Now, if a child goes without love, they will either physically die or psychologically die. Humans are not like other mammals where they gain independence from their parents quickly. Pair bonding is crucial for the healthy growth of each human. This is why people say that the love of a mother for their child is the purest form of love because it is the only one that is unconditional. But we all know mothers who failed to live in this way, parents in general who failed to live in this way. What if a child gets conditional love? And what if the condition is that they must be the best in order to be loved? Well, if you have to be the best in order to be loved, be prepared to become the worst in order to be feared. Think about it. We know of so many examples of parents pushing their kids to be the best and it just pushes them off a cliff. You have to be the smartest, the prettiest, the most successful, the richest, the most entertaining, the winner. Consider Fred Trump Jr., son of Fred Trump Sr., and the older brother of Donald Trump. While his father demanded that his eldest son take on the family real estate business, Fred Jr. tried, but after repeated abuse from his father for being the wrong kind of son, he left to go and do what he truly valued, which was being a pilot. Now, both Fred Sr. and Donald criticized him for this. They considered him a loser. They considered him a glorified bus driver. Fred Jr., to them, wasn't cutthroat enough. Even after finding success as a pilot, he could not receive the love of his father. He turned to alcohol for comfort, which became an addiction, which cost him his career, his family, and his life. Donald received the love that Fred Jr. was starved of because he grew the business. He associated himself with the sharks of New York, such as attorney Roy Cohn and others. But did he really receive love? Well, as far as I'm concerned, that love was certainly conditional. And that's the thing with conditional love. It's okay to have standards and boundaries. That's perfectly fine because these are the things that we need in order to teach people how to treat us and ourselves. But to withdraw love from your flesh and blood, unless they do what you want, is to condemn them to an eternal search for love. And that will never end until they give it up and decide to love themselves unconditionally. Fred Jr. nor Donald ever learned to do that. Their father never learned to do that, as far as we know. Everything to them was external validation. Now, Fred Jr. may have been seen as a friendly fellow, a salt of the earth kind of guy, while Donald was found guilty of multiple felonies and has been accused of heinous acts based on what was revealed in the Epstein files. But they aren't that different because, as I've said before, the only way you can hurt people is if you have pain within yourself. Fred Jr. hurt himself with alcohol and then hurt his family. And as a pilot, he could have endangered his passengers. Now, Donald never drank because he was heeding the warning from his older brother. But that did not stop him from gutting healthcare and education for his citizens, destroying businesses and industries due to tariffs, deregulation leading to environmental pollution, aiding and abetting genocide, starting illegal wars, and of course, trying to overturn a fair election. This is why he persecuted anyone that spoke out against him or who investigated him. Right? So he was indicting former FBI Director James Comey, New York Attorney General Letitia James, and former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Who else was there? He was threatening Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, and of course he was mocking the death of another FBI director, Robert Mueller. That's two different FBI directors. That's nuts. Trump and his cabinet, they do what they want and expect the American people to blindly support them. Like an abusive parent. Or else. Or else what? Or else they will withdraw love from you. But much like Trump's dad or J.D. Vance's mom, it's all conditional. You exist to serve them. The very opposite of what the relationship between a parent and a child or a government and their citizens should be. This was always the issue with being at the top, with being the best, because what if you do something and the people disapprove or hate it, or maybe they just don't like it? Now that you have failed to get the love and the approval that you are so desperate for, what are you going to do about it? Well, they're going to hurt you. They're going to shame you, ridicule you, persecute you, punish you, until you are terrified of them. Since they can't get your approval, hey, no problem. They are more than happy to scare you into submission. The pain of needing to be the best in order to be loved led to both men, Fred Jr. and Donald, to become the worst in order to be feared. No, sure, one may have been seen as a good man. Fred Jr. was seen as a good man, but the other, well, they were called America's Hitler by his now vice president. So what are some of the things to look out for in order to avoid this trap? Number one, you have to realize that the notion of I have to be the best unconsciously becomes I deserve to be the best. By creating the narrative that you are inherently better than everybody else, you create a sense of superiority that's based purely on imagination and insecurity. People who are the best at what they do got there through effort and don't judge others for not being on their level because they know the personal cost and labor that it took to get there. 2, by demanding to be the best, your insecurity and ignorance gets more and more repressed and becomes your psychological shadow. As a result, your insecurity and your ignorance are on full display for the world to see, but you are completely blind to it. The only other people who are blind to your problems are those who have the exact same shadow as you. Thus, the individual and those like him or her can never reckon with their insecurity, never reckon with their ignorance. Thus, they can never become secure or wise. They create their echo chambers and isolate themselves in delusion. 3, you think the ends justify the means. Especially, of course, because you're better than everybody else. You can harass, molest, silence, and even kill if needs be. For people with this mentality, their goals matter more than their humanity. Well, or humanity in general. 4, overall, trying to be the best tends to create the exact traits that undermine achievement. Instead of needing to be the best, they never think to just be their best. Instead of controlling others, they never considered self-mastery. Instead of notions of superiority, they never appreciated growth through curiosity. They would rather deny the shadow than integrate it. So having said all of that, is it worth it to be the best? Look, being the best is not a bad thing. It's not inherently a problem. It's just so subjective. If being the best or your best is not generated from you, the individual, but is demanded from others in order to gain their approval, you may be the best at whatever you do now, sure, but it's only a matter of time before someone is better than you or someone dislikes what you did. And then you'll get triggered into abusing them for daring to be better than you or for not giving you undying love and approval. Lastly, let's consider the cult of MAGA. Why would people still be defending Trump after everything he's done? Two reasons. The first is that nothing bad has personally happened to them, and so they don't really care about the pain of others. Secondly, they fear his wrath. MAGA believes that they are loved because to them, love by definition is conditional. You are only loved if you do what others want. It's a winning formula for the people who've constructed this because conservatives tend to be Christians who believe that God will withdraw his love and punish them if they don't obey his commands. This then becomes how they parent their children, how they care for their spouses, and how they love themselves. And by the way, don't you dare make the mistake of thinking that this is merely an American phenomenon. People all over the world think like this. To withdraw love from your family, fellow citizens, or yourself means you cease to see the value in those human beings. And each human being is valuable. Yes, even someone as destructive as Trump. Now, you may not like that I said that, but it's important to remember human potential is malleable. If you shape a child with love, you will get a life-affirming outcome. But if you shape a child with fear to abuse the child, you will get the opposite.